Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. For those of you looking to secure your cryptocurrency and keep them safe, Ledger, I believe, is also having a bunch of sales right now. They're also having a lot of Black Friday sales as well. Yeah, for those of you looking to have an extra space to keep your crypto safe, there's a link in the description below. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Welcome back to parabolic news, I guess is what you would kind of call it. The expectations, as I always say, are still very high for Bitcoin. A lot of people think that prices are going to do amazing things. And as I stated before in another video, at this point, it's kind of looking like, oh, that sound is me moving the microphone. I saw somebody say, like, what is that? Yeah, it's the actual, like, metal moving together so that I'm not, like, slinking in my chair as I try to talk into the microphone. Expectations are still very high about the end of this year. For those of you, none of you should have missed that news at this point. People are expecting that we are going to hit a, and I say this lightly, we will basically have a parabolic advance pushing us towards $200,000 by the end of this year. This is the news that we've been getting for quite some time within this market. A crypto analyst and a trader who nailed the 2022 Bitcoin bull market top thinks that Bitcoin is rapidly approaching parabolic territory. Pseudonymous analyst called Dave the Wave, why not, told people on Twitter that Bitcoin will likely erupt and witness steep rallies once it shatters a key psychological level. For those without having to really dig too deep into what he said, he thinks that the number is 130,000 US dollars. He thinks that at that point we will kind of not rest, but like that'll be like the new base figure based off of his charts. And then this is when the really aggressive jumps begin to happen. The amount of Bitcoin accumulation that we've been seeing over the course of the last 2 years, and even more so this year, has been a very dramatic buying spree that's been taking place. People are saying, well, I mean, also logically, mathematically, because of supply and demand, the demand is outstripping the supply 25, 30x at this point. Like, and that's like a conservative number. Because we knew at the beginning of 2024, the ETFs and also normal purchases were already at 25x of the daily production for Bitcoin. Basically, there's so little left that any like large amount of money is going to have a positive effect on the price. But the issue is that as you look into the room and there's less and less of something, it causes the frenzy to begin and everyone to start throwing as much money as possible into it, but the amount will still continue to dwindle. There was something from that guy, I don't remember this guy's name. It's not Jack Dorsey. Is it Jack Mallers? There's so many Jacks and Strikes and Stripes. Like so many things have the same similar name. It's very weird. I think it's Jack Mahler. He basically was stating something recently. He's like, people don't get it. He's like, there's not a lot left. Like, and it's not vindicated, but like I hope that when someone richer than I says something like that, I'm like, okay, maybe people are actually listening at this point. He was saying what people don't get is like that Bitcoin supply is like incredibly finite. He's like, we know that there's not a lot left and there's not a lot left right now. He's like, people keep kind of, it was something along, I'm heavily paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of like people just constantly waiting. He's like, your chances are like disappearing every second that you kind of wait. So yeah, Dave the Wave thinks that the movement up to $130,000 will obviously then be the precursor for a $200,000 Bitcoin. Have a couple of weeks left. It'll be fascinating to see what ends up happening by Christmas time. That's been the time frame. Remember, I kept on saying, I had it in other video titles as well. I was like, if this happens by Christmas, good, things are looking up, because every analyst has given the exact same time frame. I think by the time we end up getting into like February and March of next year, it'll probably even get a lot crazier, especially if prices do continue to advance. Usually we see large movements Beginning of the year, around spring, and then summertime tends to be a good like period, but like prices also kind of go lull as well until we end up getting into around autumn. But the difference here is that we've never had a situation before where all the Bitcoin's like almost gone. So who knows if we'll even have a boring summer in the cryptocurrency space, because anyone who sells their coins are going to be purchased immediately by another party. Yeah, $130,000 is apparently the number that we're looking for the continuation of the parabolic advance. It is very nice to see the optimism within the cryptocurrency space, because often we have a lot of, the word's not pessimism, but it's not like happyism. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of always, every single day, there's a lot of price prediction news and where Bitcoin's price is going to go and what that's going to mean for the rest of the market. And yeah, let's move on. When I tell you this was extremely popular news, I want people to like get an actual life. This news was everywhere. It was in some places, it was like on multiple different websites. Apparently Apple, like the phone people, and A24 are developing a film around infamous FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, according to a Variety report. If you want my opinion on all of this, it feels like is not fear-mongering. I don't even know what to call it. Like pointing the finger, like scapegoating. Scapegoating is the exact word that I needed there. The entire FTX fiasco was like one of the weirdest things in the entire world, simply because what Sam Bankman-Fried was accused of, and subsequently, as far as we know, legally did, every other crypto exchange was doing the exact same thing. But I think it's because someone got caught that everyone kind of like began to point their finger directly at him and said that he had done something that no one else had ever done within the cryptocurrency space before. Even during the entire collapse of FTX, remember, you must remember, and I even made videos about it every day for 4 months. We were constantly told that crypto was done, crypto was evil, crypto's bad, crypto's this is crypto. And I was like, why is everyone freaking out? I was like, he didn't do anything different. Once again, not advocating for it, but he didn't do anything different than anyone else. Like the higher up people, they're all doing the exact same scammy things over and over as well. So since the conviction, like everyone is kind of like trying to look to make documentaries and stuff like that. It's just so like sensationalized at this point. That's why I was like, why? What's the point of this? Who is actually benefiting from this except for Apple and A24 throwing their money into this? But also, like, will it even actually be popular? A lot of these movies keep being made in these documentaries and like no one really cares about them. Like Sam Bankman-Fried wasn't an interesting person. The problem is that he was deemed a golden child out of nowhere by other people who were backing him with their money. For those of you who don't know, there were tons of interviews like out of nowhere. People pay for these things or other people get them paid for. Where basically Sam Bankman-Fried was supposed to be like the American Changpeng Zhao, for those of you who don't know. Where basically Binance had taken over the cryptocurrency space so quickly while other companies and institutions hadn't been paying attention to it. Sam Bankman-Fried was kind of touted as like once again, the American version of like what Changpeng Zhao was. And therefore he was worshipped and praised. If you ever watch an old interview with him, I won't even mimic his voice. Like it was just different. It was different. And everyone was taking him so seriously and heaping praise on him. And I was like, he's just another person who happens to have money, who's throwing it into the cryptocurrency market. And then at some point, for those of you who missed it, there was like a bit of a digital rivalry between him and Sam Bankman-Fried and Changpeng Zhao on Twitter. And then Sam Bankman-Fried apparently had donated money to Democrats and Republicans, and people had a problem with that. And then that's when Changpeng Zhao was I remember all of this. When Changpeng Zhao went onto Twitter, he was like, something's wrong with FTX. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you could point those fingers at like 8 other companies within the space. They found a fault in FTX. Everything completely collapsed. And now people are kind of using this as like the demon in the space. The idea is like, this is the only person who's ever done bad within the space. As long as you continuously demonize him, then like crypto is kind of saved. Because if you keep making videos and movies and documentaries and talking about it, well, therefore we can all learn our lesson and no one will ever be like Sam Bankman-Fried again until they are. But whatever happened with Sam Bankman-Fried, it's not even, I know this was completely having to do with money. There's a huge tug of war that a lot of people can't see within this space. It's not all happy and people holding hands and you know, singing songs. There's trillions of dollars at stake. There's like actual, it's not even generational wealth. It's like forever money is kind of at play here. So whatever happened to him, I'm fairly certain it had to do something with someone trying to make sure that they got all the money that was available. But the fascination continues. There's so many other things happening within the cryptocurrency market besides Sam Bankman. Do you remember when the whole thing was happening? How glued to it everyone was. And I remember even I said in a video, I was like, what's wrong with everyone? I was like, why are you all so whatever? And people were like, he's a monster. He needs to be taken down. And I was like, you didn't even know who this man was 3 weeks ago. None of you were using FTX, or rather a small portion of you maybe had $15 there. The masses weren't on FTX. They were getting all that good publicity on CNBC and other platforms to make FTX big, to make it big. Like you do it with the publicity. Everyone was acting like it's so weird. I don't know what happens, but I think most people are special. The film will adapt Michael Lewis's best-selling book called Going Infinite, with Lena Dunham on board to write the screenplay. Lena Dunham. Why does that sound familiar? Give me half a second. I'm going to Google that. Lena Dunham. I hope it's not who I think it is. Oh gosh, please don't be who I think it is. Lena Dunham. Oh, I'm not going to watch it. It's going to be garbage. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, well. I mean, not like I was really going to watch it anyway. She's just by far one of the most pretentious human beings. She's a product of nepotism. I don't care for no. The film will chronicle the rise and collapse of crypto exchange FTX and its founder Sam Bankman-Fried. Now under production, this project follows Apple's record-breaking $5 million acquisition of rights to his book in September 2023, surpassing previous high-profile film rights purchases. Cool. This was very popular news. Incredibly popular. A lot of people are going to sensationalize this as well and talk about the stuff that they didn't know, and things will pop up in the movie that you think actually happened, but they didn't. They're just doing it for the sake of the movie. Because if they gave you the actual story, about 90% of it would be probably Sam Bankman-Fried sitting in his living room, eating Doritos in his boxers, watching TV, going up to a computer, picking up a phone, saying, hey, did you do the trade? Okay, cool. And then him going to sit back down to the TV. Him getting on a plane, going to the Bahamas, going through security, talking to his family on the phone. Like, of course, they're going to make it hyper sensationalized, but hopefully when this movie is done, everyone loses interest because it's not interesting at all. I don't get it. That's the Sam Bankman-Fried movie. All right. Let's move on. Also I don't think it's, I wouldn't say popular news, but it's Binance, so it's in the news. Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange by trading volume, has just launched the first ever crypto exchange solution for wealth managers. People keep trying to do these kinds of things and they don't always work out as well. I assume that Coinbase is trying to do something like this, or they're trying to front run them. A number of years ago, one of the ideas back in 2018 was that the cryptocurrency space was going to be flooded with money in 2018. So we heard from a number of crypto exchanges. It was mainly Coinbase back then who had foregone the idea of helping normal people or helping normal people invest in the cryptocurrency space and simply, we're creating a number of things like for wealthy clients, like things on their website when it came to staking, when it came to custody, you kind of name it. It didn't really catch on until around 2021, and this is where we currently are right now with all these things becoming more popular. But this is why I assume that Binance is also trying to launch one of their own as well. This move could also help further assert the exchange's dominance in the crypto space. Probably. Binance is still really popular. Changpeng Zhao is still really popular. I'm glad that he's actually free, like really, like sincerely glad that he's actually free. I know he is never, ever setting foot there again, ever. But yeah, he seems to be in pretty good spirits, and Binance will continue to be a major crypto exchange within this space for at least the foreseeable future. The crypto exchange announced in a press release the launch of Binance Wealth, the first crypto exchange technological solution catering to wealth managers. Is this really the first one? I feel like Coinbase already has, like, Coinbase even has Coinbase Pro. Like, that's basically for, like, high frequency traders, like people who have a lot of money. Like, I feel like this can't be the first thing catering to wealth managers, because the wealth managers are also like kind of BlackRock, and BlackRock is using Coinbase as their custody solution. So the service will allow wealth managers to oversee their clients' onboarding and make investment recommendations, ensuring that these clients enjoy strong support throughout the onboarding process. Wealth managers will also retain full discretionary control, similar to traditional wealth management services. Wealth managers seeking the Binance Wealth program must apply to gain access. Cool, why not? A lot of time, this is very similar. Oh gosh, what's that other thing? Oh, we haven't gotten in a while. There was always some kind of news. That's what it was. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of weird stuff in crypto all the time. Whenever there was like news about like hiring, remember how that was always really popular news? And then we had a season wherever there was like news about like firing. That was also popular news. Like, and I mean like from the standpoint of a company is firing like 38 people. And that was like the main crypto news of the day. And I was like, what? Why was this on 9 different websites? Like, that was a really weird thing, crypto people, where for some reason everyone was just focused. But I mean, also like the whole Sam Bankman-Fried thing. People kind of like focus on like the worst kind of news within the space, and I don't really understand it. So maybe this is kind of like it. Whenever a cryptocurrency company, I think I get it now. Whenever a cryptocurrency company announces that they're launching something like this, it ends up being relatively popular news. And I think I get why. It's probably because people are assuming if Binance is launching something for wealth managers, that new wealth is going to enter the space. If new wealth enters the space, then therefore the people who heard this news would also make money from the new wave of money that has entered the space. That's all that I can kind of assume that it actually is, because otherwise it just doesn't make any real sense. Anyway, cool. Awesome. I know it'll work out for them, so I don't even have to say good luck, just simply because it's Binance. You launch things like this because you know that there's already interest. So, yeah. That's the Binance news. And yeah, let's move on. Also sure, why not? Hong Kong, wow, is apparently going to finalize stablecoin regulation. Talks new tax break. What? Oh, okay, I get it. Talks new tax breaks for cryptocurrency investors. You could have just wrote that in English as opposed to like trying to make it. Okay. Hong Kong is poised to keep advancing as an Asian cryptocurrency hub. Weird sentence. Having recently made announcements seeking to cement the role of these as investments in the city. Whoever wrote this, get a grip. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority, the HKMA, and the Treasury offered new information regarding regulation and crypto taxes at the Hong Kong FinTech Week. Yeah, Hong Kong, we haven't heard from them in a while either. That's also quite surprising. Hong Kong is kind of positioned, standing, I don't know. People think that Hong Kong is going to be like one of the leaders within the cryptocurrency space. They were doing extremely well last year and this year. Not that they're not doing well, but as far as being in the news, they were kind of the first place within Asia to give like proper cryptocurrency regulation. Do you remember when they announced that they were going to do something and then they actually did it? I know that sounds crazy, but it's actually quite revolutionary within the cryptocurrency space, where we've been given regulators across the board, not just within the States, who say that they're going to do something and then do nothing. That goes back to India. For those of you who have forgotten, India has been talking since 2017 about either banning cryptocurrencies or regulating cryptocurrencies, and they've done neither, not in any direction. And companies who continue to work there, they keep getting kicked out or told that their paperwork is not sufficient because they don't have any cryptocurrency regulations under their belt. All this is doing is like making sure that like nobody wants to work in that country. It's similar to Nigeria and many other places. I don't understand this idea of like, you think you're playing like tug of war with someone when like you look up, like the rope is just laying there. You've been pulling by yourself. Like if you continuously make sure like this is what brain drain is. The idea is like the people with the brains, they leave. Therefore, like the brains have been drained from that area. So I guess, yeah, keep not giving proper regulations and see what actually ends up happening. And also they're like missing out on like this gigantic opportunity. Wouldn't it have made more sense? Doesn't India have like 1.2 billion people now? Can you imagine if their government had given them crypto regulations in 2017? India, there would be no discussion. There would be no discussion of the US dominating crypto like in any given way. With 1.2 billion people, India would be dominating the living heck out of crypto right now. Anywho, for those of you who also don't know, people in India like really like to invest. I've met a lot of Indian people over the last couple of years, not generalizing, of course, but a lot of them, like I sit there and I'm like they love investing. Like it was taught to them when they were younger. Like their family members have been buying gold. Like they're really into investing, but you know, governments are usually garbage. So Hong Kong announced years ago that they were going to give crypto regulation. They did it within 3 months. They announced that they were going to allow Bitcoin ETFs. They did that within like, I think a month or two. And basically stable coins are kind of like the talk of the town now. If you've been missing out for some reason on the news, a lot of governments are no longer going to be making central bank digital currencies, but they're now going to be making stable coins. The idea of stablecoin regulation is kind of like it needs to happen right now because a number of central banks are going to be assumably launching their stable coins on top of Ethereum and on top of the XRP blockchain sometime next year. So there's also like propositions for a lot of like new stable coins, like things from Tether and that Circle are trying to make, basically euro, yen, and I forgot the other currency, stable coins that are meant to be popular, but no one really wants them or needs them. Most people tend to trade in US dollar because it is a dominant currency. And therefore, like people tend to only really want to use US dollar Tether and also Circle coin in US dollar. But of course, I mean, there's also usage for these things, but they're not as completely widespread. So the news basically is that Hong Kong is saying that they're going to like finalize regulation. And I give it 8 weeks, 6 weeks, because they actually do what they say that they're going to do. There's a lot of money in Hong Kong, and apparently that keeps on rising as well. So there's a lot of speculation and or I wouldn't use the word hope, but people trying to see if Hong Kong is going to be as big of a contender with Japan and South Korea during this bull run. I think they will be. We've already had a couple of situations also for Korea, what people call like the kimchi premium on Bitcoin apparently is like also picking back up like every now and again. It's kind of like whenever Bitcoin, if you pay attention, whenever that Bitcoin hits a brand new all-time high in the like dollars, usually it happens in South Africa first, in Canada first, and in South Korea first. Because they usually, oh well, anyway. Yeah, that's the Hong Kong stablecoin regulation. It's something that people love. And yeah, let's move on. Also in popular news as well, Tether's CEO announced through a post on Twitter that Tether's treasury has minted 2 billion Tether on the Ethereum network to replenish its inventory. Ardoino disclosed that the Tether was authorized but not issued and would be used for chain swaps and issuance on the next requests. We typically see that during a bull run, stable coins are created in mass. There usually is a higher demand for them, and or the perception is that as the bull run rages on and more people are trading with these coins, that therefore there will be a higher demand. So you kind of create them before people actually need them, if you will. This tends to, I mean, it's weird seeing Tether news popular at all. We haven't had any Tether Bitcoin news in a while either. We know like every quarter Tether buys a whole bunch of Bitcoin, like with their earnings and stuff like that. We haven't had that in like 2 seasons. That's a little bit weird, especially knowing how much money that they're actually making from it. So part of the magic of the bull run is that also a huge amount of stable coin also get created. We had that news earlier in the year as well, when we started seeing like the production of Tether on multiple different chains, and we were hearing like in one day 700 million new Tether was created, 1.3 billion, like that kind of thing. It ramps up very quick so that there's extra liquidity within the market to be able to swap back and forth to make it sure that the market's not very rocky, and also just for all the heavy-handed investors who get into the space. Bit of a weird news day, nothing too bad. Things still are looking up within the space. I'm excited to see where the place goes within the next 4 weeks, as I've been stating over and over and over and over. I've been waiting since January. You've been seeing as well since January. People, the moment we got those Bitcoin ETFs, every analyst said 100,000, 150,000, $200,000 per coin by the end of December. So if it actually ends up taking place, it's going to, we're all, of course, going to be euphoric. But yeah, let's see what happens if we actually end up getting there. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.